my lords. The Bioships have landed. On May 5th, along with the Biogenesis DLC, 2 biological ship sets will be added to the game. Before I say too much, I'll get this in early. These ships will utterly stomp all over the current Stellaris meta. They are insanely powerful. One ship type has 9 X-slots. 9. We knew that organics were going to take the fight to the machines, post-machine age, but holy shroud, what you're about to witness is unbelievably strong. Even the machines will be using organic ships. Toasters driving organic spaceships, the soulless driving the souled. Who'd have dreamt it? Anyway, Bioships. These will have unique ship classes and technologies. The idea is that they will not only be different in appearance from mechanical ships and space fauna, but they will also be mechanically different. This is quite a large information dump I have for you, so I'm going to put out some key points first, as it took me a few readings of the dev diary to get my head around it. There are 2 new ship sets, the Shellcraft and the Spinivore. The Shellcraft appear to be the more friendly looking design at first glance. It is smooth and sleek. The Spinivore, on the other hand, is much more bone and spikes, and appears to be the same ship that we saw in the Season 9 trailer, the one that the United Nations of Earth was supposedly growing to fight the machines. On Empire creation, you'll choose either one of the biological ship sets or a mechanical ship set, like you normally would do, i.e. humanoids, aquatics, etc. If you choose a biological ship set, then it will have some fairly dramatic mechanical implications. Firstly, you can only then build bioships and will not have access to mechanical ships through your shipyards. You may still be able to recruit them through mercenaries and the like. There are important differences between bioships and mechanical ships, and I'll explain them as we go through in the report. But if you pick biological ships, then they, including starbases, megastructures and stations, have their primary construction resource converted from alloys or minerals into food, and their energy upkeep will likewise be replaced with food upkeep. Furthermore, overwhelmingly, biological ship technologies fall into society research instead of what we would normally have, engineering research for ships. This is another large mechanical change and will drastically change the way we play our empires, which is quite interesting given that previous ship sets have been purely aesthetic. That is not the case anymore. So, bioships will replace mechanical ships. If you select them, regular ship classes will be replaced with bioship equivalents. So corvettes and frigates become Maulers, destroyers become Weavers, cruisers become Harbingers, and battleships become Stingers. There are also Bio-Titans and Juggernauts, and they maintain the same naming structure, but we're yet to see what they look like. Similar to space fauna, added with Grand Archive, biological ships also have growth stages, 3 to be specific, but unlike space fauna, they do not naturally progress through these stages via aging. Instead, the ships have a unique component slot for supplementary organs that can be researched. Generally speaking, the juvenile and mature growth stages will likely be occupied by growth organs that allow the ships to progress to the next stage. Alternatively, docking a fleet to a starbase equipped with a growth chamber also allows for additional growth, regardless of ship configuration. When biological ships are designed, either automatically or using Ship Designer, all research growth stages are configured as part of a single ship design. Once a biological ship has acquired sufficient growth progress, it will automatically change using the next growth stage in its design. Alternatively, biological ships can be constructed at a shipyard at a later growth stage. Okay, so what do they look like and what can they do? We'll start with the Mauler, the smallest bioship, and you can see the Spinivore Mauler in its 3 growth stages on screen now. Maulers primarily focus on short-range combat with shield penetration and high damage to armor and shields. They are equipped with melee-range mandible weapons and either short-range S-slot weapons or point defense. These ships will form the bulk of your navy in the early game. Their unique mandible weapons has a similar damage scaling against starbases and larger ships as torpedoes. so it appears that the Maulers will function in a similar role to corvettes and frigates. My biggest takeaway looking at these images is the 40% evasion, which at a glance appears a little bit low, but I guess that is offset with the increase in damage potential from the G-slots and the growth cycles of the creature. As an example, this image shows a Mauler in its maximal state of growth, and it offers far more offensive and defensive output than one would get, say, from a regular corvette. And I'll also point out while we're on this image, there is a little save icon. Could this be a game-wide ship design save function? I really hope so. Under the ship computer, we can see the unique Bioship components section. Each of the Bioships will have this. In the Maulers' case, they have access to two components, the corrosive fluids and the metabolic recycler. Corrosive fluids appear to increase mandible weapon and armor damage, and metabolic recycler increases sublight speed and evasion. Now on to the Weavers. Weavers are support ships, making use of unique weapons to apply powerful buffs to their allies or debuffs to their enemy. This type of ship, particularly one this small, appears to be an entirely new style of ship to what we've had in Stellaris previously. Although somewhat close to a destroyer, they appear to have a much higher offensive and defensive capability, but they are of course more expensive. The Weavers' party piece, however, is their unique weapons. Weavers have access to an array of 6 unique support components, each with 6 tiers that belong in the point defense slot. These 6 weapon types are the Adaptive Spore Launcher. This provides armor hardening and armor and hull regen, and I must say, 20% armor harden is very strong. The Weaver Aura Caster will provide 20% ship fire rate, 20% weapon range, and both armor and shield penetration. The Electro Sprayers offer an evasion chance, sublight speed increases, and combat disengagement increases. Those 3 are all weapons that are firing on your own ships, but offer what can only be described as massive buffs. 20% ship fire rate is almost the bonus that you get from using no retreat, with none of the downside, and 20% armor hardening feels just as strong. I feel like these ships will be extremely powerful, and it's interesting as well that these weapons can miss, but they do fire twice every 10 days, and their effect lasts for 10 days, so I think it's quite likely that the effect will be constant on the targeted ship, so long as you have a good ratio of Weavers in your fleet. I think these ships are going to absolutely smash the Stellaris meta apart, but now we have their offensive weapons. The Degradation Beam reduces enemy ship fire rate and range by 20% and tracking by 5. The Pinion Accelerator decreases sublight speed by a whopping 40% and evasion by 20. And Ruined Barbs add an entirely new effect to Stellaris, Confusion. There's definitely a Pokemon meme in there somewhere. This will cause enemy ships to be confused for 5 to 10 days. These weapons are going to undoubtedly change the Stellaris fleet combat meta is played. Some of these bonuses are bonkers strong, and for a ship that is in theory a destroyer at a tech level sense. But there's more. They, like the Maulers, also have access to unique components. They get symbiotic amplifiers, which increase weapons range and fire rate, and developmental pheromones, which will increase the rate at which ships grow but increase the upkeep. Frankly, these bioships are just getting started. Take a look at the next one, the Harbinger. Harbingers are carriers capable of deploying large amounts of strikecraft and supporting them with point defense or long-range missiles. 18 picket slots and 9 hangar bay slots on this beauty, or you could have 9 missile bays and 9 hangar bays. It's crazy. Furthermore, the Harbinger has a 4.3k hull, 7k armor, and a 1.7k shield. It is far stronger than a battleship. Granted, it is more expensive, but when the bulk of it costs food and not alloy, I'm not sure how much more expensive it really is. These ships are going to destroy everything in their path. And bear in mind, I've not even got to the battleship equivalent yet. Strikecraft for empires using biological ships will be deployed in greater numbers per fighter wing, but they will have reduced hull points and armour instead of shields. So perhaps energy-based point defence will be the way to counter it. The Harbingers' unique components are growth regulators and the incubation matrix. The regulators increase strikecraft range and armour, and the matrix increases range and decreases their cooldown. And now we're going to move on to the stingers, and these things are just pure broken. How many X weapon slots would you like, sir? Say a battleship has 1, a battle cruiser has 2. Or well, maybe we should give this 3. No. We'll give it 9. 9 X slots. 9. This ship is going to put some modded content to shame. 9 X slots. Imagine 9 arc emitters per ship. Incidentally, it also has 9 large weapon slots as well. Or, if you want to, you could make a more bruisery build, but frankly, why would you? 9 arc emitters. I don't even think that this ship is very expensive. 3k food and 1.4k alloy. Bear in mind that a fully equipped battleship is around 1.4 to 1.5k alloys itself, and it only has 1 X weapon slot. The organics are definitely making a comeback here. As you would expect, the Stingers have unique component slots as well. They are heavy exhaust spiracles, which increase tracking and fire rate, and the rangefinder, which increases ship weapon range by 5% and tracking by 5. That rounds up the new ship sets from a mechanical point of view, and I'm definitely going to need to sit down after this. 9 X slots. It's truly insane. If you select Bioship, it's worth noting that your tech options will be adjusted with new icons to match the Bioship design, which is a nice touch. I've got a few messages for you, so I'll leave you with a montage of the new ship art while I talk. Firstly, Paradox has kindly offered me access into their affiliate program. Essentially, if you buy stuff through their store using my code or link, then I'll get a kickback. If you've not yet ordered Season 9 and you intend to do so, I'd encourage you to please use my link and it will support me and the channel. When you buy through the PDX shop, you'll get a Steam code which you can then go and redeem. And secondly, please let me know your thoughts on these new ships. Are they going to be as broken as I think they are? And is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? For sure, it's going to shape up the galaxy and the meta. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about it. As always, please keep subscribing, keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one.